Okay, so I ended up getting a whole piston and rod, and this is what we're going to put in there. It's brand new, so that's the plan. Everything seems to be nicer. I have this just sitting in here, but like this is tight in here and I don't like that, so to the hell with it. It was cheap, so yeah, so we're gonna have to get this guy in here. Of course I dropped this on the floor. So let me take the cap off first. And yeah, this thing's brand new. There's not a mark in it, so this should fix my problem, let's put it that way. So 10 millimeters. Even the bolts are smoother going in and out. So there's definitely something wrong with that one. The piston and the rod. So, you know, I don't really foresee any of this is that big of a deal. That goes downwards. This is gonna be smoky when we start it, but so most of the time, yeah, you should use oil for this. I'm just being lazy. Most of the time, you can just push these guys in while compressing the rings. It's not the easiest thing on the planet, but if you can do it, because these rings are not very, like, they're not very hard to push in, so first ring is basically in. Oops, shouldn't have done that. I keep moving it out. You want to make sure these rings stay in 100%. And I think they're supposed to be like 180 degrees apart, you know. I would research that for what this engine does. I don't really care that much. There we go, first ring is in. Seriously. Alright, so just wiggle and it will go. And it feels fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. So now, as long as I'm not forgetting anything, this guy can go in. Help if I got that up all the way. This is probably going to be hard for you guys to see. So you got to make sure the piston's up all the way to do this. And then this, generally speaking, should just slide directly in. Okay. So I don't have any assembly lube or anything, so what I'm going to do is just use a little bit of thicker oil on some of this stuff. We're hoping that there isn't too much play on this. It doesn't feel like there is. But the way the caps on the other one were, I had trouble pushing that together. This one just smooth as butter, so definitely got overheated or beat up. I'm just hoping that this doesn't, you know, I went the cheap route because I have this feeling that the crank is actually too worn out too, but this is just, you know, cheap method. Gonna see if I can save it. If I can't, so be it. Another thing we gotta make sure. Yeah, nothing's gonna hit that bolt that we put in. Okay. So is it possible to get this in here? So, click. Click. Okay. And that feels good. And the play that you're seeing right here, that's side to side play, not actual play on it. I don't think the crank feels good, so hopefully this does it. So giving everything a nice little general coat of oil. I cleaned off most of this stuff before, so all right. So, alright. So we have to find our dot on this. There's the dot right there. Match it up with this little dot there. Just like that. Okay. While I'm thinking about this, because if I flip this guy up, the oil's gonna get everywhere. Okay, so somehow I lost some footage here, and what you missed is I put the side cover back on. You just have to make sure that the cam and the crank are lined up, and then all I did was I put the valves back on. the push rods, so that is. So you put the push rods underneath the rockers, and you just make sure everything's working fine. Then you can put your gasket back on the engine, and you can then seal it with RTV. I used Honda Bond. You don't even have to use RTV if you have a new gasket. I usually just put a little layer on the stuff. I reused my broken gasket, and I just Honda Bonded around it, and it's been fine. So yeah, let's keep going here. Alright, so we just put all that stuff together. Now we're gonna crank this guy down. Seems good enough to me. No compression at the moment, but that's because there's no spark plug in there. Dude. And the valves still need to be adjusted, so let's... Retarded. No. Whoops. Hope if I got the right socket. Grr. Yep. That would be key. And these you will snap right off if you don't be careful with this kind of impact gun. Bops. Gone forever. Probably should have the gas off. Alright, so I don't know what the hell just happened to that one, so we're gonna put this one in. And over here, you can go like that. And technically you could just tap this to kill it. Now, I just want to see if this thing has compression. Very little. Okay. So I still have to put oil in it, but alright, so let's see. there's the compression. Alright. That, I think, is top dead center. So let's adjust these valves. This is the worst feeler gauge on the planet. Probably pretty close. Yeah, adjusting valves is pretty easy. But I don't have the right feeler gauge, so I'm kind of guesstimating it. That doesn't feel that bad. Alright, so we'll see if that works. Alright, so the last thing for now, let's pop this guy on, put some oil in. Alright, so I need to fill this guy with oil. Put in this breather, which is all pinched anyway. It should work. Alright, so let's grab some oil, some Earl. And I just want to see if it runs, so we're gonna Alright, let's see if this thing runs at all. So there you go. It doesn't sound like the knock is completely gone, but it sounds quieter to me. So generally speaking, that's how you rebuild this engine. And I think this one, I'm gonna break it in a little bit, nice and easy, and I'm gonna throw it back on the go-kart. I'm just gonna drive it. I'm just gonna let it go. If for some reason it decides to blow up, we will replace it with another one probably. But for now, because it still makes some noise, I don't think it's worth upgrading this motor. And that's why I spent, you know, I spent 20 bucks on the parts for this, and now I can just blow it up if I feel like it, or it'll run forever, you know. Like this thing, like I said, it looks a little beat up on here, but it actually still ran perfectly, and these parts really aren't that bad. The thing that I didn't like is this feels super tight, and this looks worn down here. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you learned something at least, and I'll see you in the next one.